In today's story, a client manager hears herself making offensive comments on a recorded call she knows she never attended. Before we begin, settle in and enjoy tonight's story. My coworker used an AI copy of my voice to get me fired. My director played a recording of me calling our largest client an arrogant little man who would sign anything if we made him feel important. The voice was mine. The words were not. I was sitting in a glass meeting room with my director, someone from human resources, and the head of legal. A laptop rested in the center of the table. Through its speakers, I heard myself laugh. Then I heard my voice say that the client's finance manager was too old to understand the contract and that we could hide the price increase in the implementation charges. The recording lasted 58 seconds. Nobody interrupted it. When it ended, the head of legal closed the laptop. "Do you deny making those comments?" he asked. "Yes." My director watched me carefully. "You understand that this is your voice. It sounds like my voice. It came from a call associated with your client account. I was not on that call." Human Resources had already printed the meeting record. The call had taken place at 4:10 on the previous Thursday. It involved our company, 2 representatives from Braddon Medical, and someone identified as me. The call log showed my name. The recording showed my voice. Braddon Medical had suspended negotiations on a 3-year software contract worth almost £6 million. My access to the client account had been disabled 10 minutes before the meeting began. I managed strategic clients for a healthcare software company. I had worked there for 6 years and had spent the previous 8 months leading the Braddon contract. Closing it would almost certainly have secured my promotion to Regional Accounts Director. The other person being considered for that promotion was my co-worker, Elise Warren. Elise had joined the company 2 years after me and had become indispensable almost immediately. She remembered birthdays, anticipated problems, and volunteered for work nobody else wanted. She also ran our call coaching sessions. Every client manager submitted recordings to Elise so she could identify weak phrases, missed objections, and opportunities to improve. She had hundreds of hours of my voice. I thought of that before the meeting ended, but I did not say it. Accusing a promotion rival of manufacturing an AI recording would sound like the desperate explanation of someone caught insulting a client. Instead, I asked to hear the full call. Legal refused. The client supplied the excerpt, he said, then asked them for the whole recording. "We have. Did they say I was there?" "Their commercial director believes he spoke to you." "Believes?" My director looked down at the printed log. The call was arranged at short notice. Cameras were off. I asked who else from our company had attended. Nobody answered immediately. Then Human Resources said, Elise Warren joined for the first 12 minutes. That was the first fact that changed the shape of the room. Elise had been on the call. She had not reported hearing me insult anyone. According to her written statement, she left before the offensive comments were made. I was suspended on full pay while the company investigated. My director collected my laptop and access card before I left the building. As I waited for the lift, Elise stepped out of the stairwell. Her expression changed when she saw the envelope in my hand. "What happened?" she asked. I told her legal had played a recording from the Braddon call. She looked confused for half a second, then concerned. "What recording?" "The one where I apparently insulted the client." Her eyes moved away from mine. It was a small movement, but it happened before she asked whether I was all right. I said, "You were on that call, only at the beginning. Did you hear me join?" "I think so." "You think so?" It was chaotic. Braddon added people. Everyone kept dropping out. The lift arrived. Elise touched my arm. "I'll tell them whatever I remember." It sounded supportive. It was also the safest possible promise. The recording arrived from an anonymous email address 2 hours later. The message contained only an audio file and the words, "You should hear what they have." I listened through headphones at my kitchen table. My first reaction was physical. Hearing my own voice say something cruel created a brief, irrational sense that I must have said it and forgotten. The rhythm was right. The slight roughness at the end of longer sentences was right. Even the way I inhaled before laughing sounded like me. but I had not attended the call. I checked my calendar. At 4:10 on Thursday, I had been in a dental appointment. The appointment system showed I arrived at 3:54 and paid at 5:02. That should have cleared me immediately. It did not explain why my account had joined the call. I listened again. The voice called Braddon's commercial director, Mr. Harland. I never called him that. His name was Marcus Harland, but he corrected everyone during our first meeting. "Marcus is fine," he had said. "Mr. Harland is my father." For 8 months, I had called him Marcus. The fake voice also pronounced the company's procurement platform as MedAxis, with equal emphasis on both words. Our team pronounced it MedAxis, small differences, meaningless to anyone who had not worked the account. Then I heard the chair. Beneath my voice was a faint squeak every few seconds. Elise's chair squeaked. She had complained about it during remote calls and joked that facilities would replace her before they replaced the chair. I sent the audio to my solicitor, a woman named Nadia who specialized in employment disputes. She told me not to contact Elise, Braddon, or anyone else at work. Then she asked whether I had proof of the dental appointment. I sent the receipt, location history, and appointment confirmation. "That proves you were somewhere else," Nadia said. "It does not yet prove the recording was fabricated. Someone could argue you joined from your phone." My phone was in a locker. "Can the dentist confirm that? They have cameras. Ask them to preserve the footage." The clinic manager confirmed that patients stored phones and bags in lockers outside the treatment rooms. Security footage showed me placing my phone inside at 4:01 and removing it at 4:47. That reduced the possible explanations. Either someone had logged into my company account without my phone, or the recording was never part of the live call. Nadia sent the evidence to my employer. The response came the following morning. The company accepted that I had been at the dentist, but said the account login had used a valid authentication token from my laptop. My laptop had been at the office. I had left it docked because I planned to return after the appointment. Someone had used my computer. The office access logs showed 3 people entered our floor during that period. A cleaner, a facilities engineer, Elise. The recording sounded exactly like me, but I had been inside a dental surgery when the call happened. My phone was locked outside the treatment room, and security footage proved it. The company still found a valid login from my office laptop. Only 3 people had entered the floor while I was gone, and one of them was competing with me for the same promotion. The company interviewed Elise again. She said she returned to collect a notebook and never touched my desk. She also changed one detail. In her first statement, she thought she heard me join the call. In her second, she said she assumed I was present because my name appeared in the participant list. That distinction mattered. Nobody could now confirm that a live person using my voice had been on the call. Braddon's representatives had joined without cameras. Marcus Harland had been moving between meetings and admitted he was distracted. The offensive excerpt appeared after Elise left. The full call recording still had not arrived. Braddon claimed its meeting system had retained only a partial file because the host ended the recording early. I asked why the client had a 58-second excerpt if the full recording did not exist. Nobody gave me a direct answer. My suspension continued. The promotion interviews were scheduled for the following Monday. Human Resources told me mine would be postponed. Elise's would proceed. That was the obvious motive. Remove me from the process, become the only viable candidate, and inherit the Braddon account after the investigation. But jealousy did not explain the sophistication. Elise could have complained about me, undermined a client proposal, or manufactured a less technical scandal. Instead, someone had copied my voice convincingly enough to deceive people who worked with me every day. I began reviewing old call coaching emails from my personal archives. Elise ran a program called VoiceLab. The name had seemed harmless when she introduced it. Each month, we submitted 3 client call excerpts. Elise asked us to include moments where we handled objections, explained pricing, or spoke informally. She frequently requested additional samples. Could you repeat this section without background noise? Can you record the pricing explanation as a standalone voice note. Please send a clean version of the introduction. At the time, she said the clips would help create an internal training library. In one email, she asked everyone to record a list of difficult product names. In another, she requested numbers, dates, company names, and common client objections. She had not merely collected conversations. She had collected clean, isolated sounds. My solicitor hired a digital audio examiner named Colin Shaw. He would not promise certainty from one compressed file, but he identified several irregularities. The room tone changed beneath individual phrases. Some consonants had unnaturally clean edges. Breaths appeared in places where a speaker would normally continue without pausing. Most importantly, the file had been exported through editing software 2 hours after the Braddon call. The audio was not a raw meeting recording. It had been assembled or processed afterward. The company's legal team argued that normal trimming could explain the export history. Colin agreed. Then he isolated one sentence. I heard my voice say, "We can hide the increase in implementation." The word implementation contained a faint notification sound. I recognized it. It came from our internal messaging software. Colin found the same sound in a training clip I had submitted 5 months earlier. In that clip, I said, "We can hide the initial disruption by implementing the migration in stages." The fake recording had not copied the sentence directly, but the background notification survived inside the generated word. The voice model had apparently been trained or prompted using my coaching recordings. That was the first serious evidence of deliberate manufacture. Nadia sent the report to my employer and demanded that the promotion process be suspended. The company paused it for 48 hours. Elise contacted me that evening from her personal number. I did not answer. She left a voice message. "I know you think I'm involved," she said. "I'm not. VoiceLab files are stored in the shared coaching drive. Anyone in management could access them. You need to stop making this about the promotion before you destroy both of us." I listened twice. She was right about one thing. The files were on a shared drive. Our director had access. Human resources had access. 2 training managers had access. Elise was not the only possible culprit. Then she made another mistake. The audio examiner's report had not mentioned VoiceLab by name. It referred only to archived training recordings. Elise knew exactly which library had supplied the source material. The next morning, the company suspended her access too. That should have helped me. Instead, the situation became worse. Braddon Medical released a second recording. This one was a voicemail apparently left by me on Marcus Harlan's personal phone. My voice said I was sorry he had overheard internal sales language and offered to adjust the figures if he kept the matter informal. It sounded less natural than the first recording, but it contained information only someone involved in the contract would know: specific discount percentages, a disputed implementation fee, the date Braddon's board planned to vote. The voicemail transformed the incident from misconduct into possible bribery. Marcus supplied a screenshot showing the call came from my mobile number. My carrier records showed no outgoing call. Someone had spoofed the number. The company notified regulators because Braddon Medical operated hospitals and the contract involved sensitive patient systems. I was no longer fighting only for a promotion. I was fighting to avoid being blamed for an attempted commercial inducement. Elise had anticipated the first recording might be challenged. The second recording was designed to make my denial look like part of a cover-up. A second recording appeared after I proved I had not attended the original call. This time, my voice offered the client a secret discount if he kept quiet. The voicemail displayed my mobile number, but my phone records showed no call. Someone had copied my voice, spoofed my number, and prepared a second accusation before I challenged the first. Nadia advised me to stop treating the promotion as the central motive. If she only needed you out of the interview, she said, the first recording was enough. The second one creates criminal and regulatory exposure. That is excessive unless she needs you discredited for another reason. I thought about the Braddon account. Elise had covered it during my holidays. She knew the client, the pricing structure, and the implementation schedule. She had also prepared several internal profitability reports. I asked Colin to examine recordings connected to Braddon, not only mine. The company resisted releasing them. Nadia threatened an injunction. 2 days later, we received 23 call files and a spreadsheet of meeting logs. The records showed Elise had joined 11 Braddon calls over 6 months. Only 6 appeared on her calendar. On one unlisted call, she told a procurement manager that our company could hold pricing if Braddon signed before the end of the quarter. She did not have authority to make that promise. On another, she discussed a consultancy allowance that did not exist in the approved proposal. The calls were brief and carefully worded. Nothing directly proved fraud. Then Colin found another synthetic voice. In a recording attributed to Marcus Harland, Marcus appeared to approve moving £48,000 from implementation support into an external clinical consultancy budget. Marcus denied saying it. His voice had been copied too. The fake recording had been uploaded to our internal contract file 3 weeks before mine was created. I was not the first target of the voice cloning system. I was the person positioned to discover the financial change. As lead account manager, I would review the final pricing schedule before signature. The fake scandal removed me from the account just as the consultancy payment entered the documentation. Elise did not merely want my promotion. She needed control of the account. The promotion would give her authority to approve pricing exceptions and assign external consultants without a second manager's signature. The company searched the proposed supplier. It was called Northmere Clinical Advisory. The business had existed for 4 months. Its registered director was a man named Aaron Pike. I had never heard of him. Elise had. Her private social media account showed photographs of them together at a racecourse, a hotel, and a beach in Portugal. Aaron was her boyfriend. The consultancy payment would move company money into his business. That looked like the main reveal. It still did not explain why Elise needed the money so urgently that she would manufacture voices, impersonate a client, and risk prison. The answer came from her mother. A woman named Diane Warren called our legal department after Elise's suspension appeared in a local business newsletter. Diane said she was trying to understand why her daughter's employer had contacted her mortgage lender. The company had not contacted any mortgage lender. Investigators had found loan documents inside Elise's work files and notified the police. Diane owned a detached house outside Reading. She believed the mortgage had been paid off 3 years earlier. It had not. A new secured loan for £126,000 had been taken against the property using an electronic power of attorney. The power of attorney named Elise. Diane had signed a limited document allowing her daughter to handle bills while she recovered from surgery. Elise altered it and used the expanded version to borrow against the house. Most of the money disappeared through online betting accounts. Diane knew nothing about the loan. For 18 months, Elise had made the monthly payments herself. Then the interest rate changed. A final repayment of nearly £70,000 was due within 6 weeks. If she failed to pay, her mother would receive the enforcement notice and discover both the forged authority and the gambling losses. The promotion came with a £25,000 salary increase and a £30,000 retention payment. The fake consultancy payment would cover the rest. Elise was not trying to become richer. She was trying to keep her mother from learning that the home she thought she owned outright could be repossessed because of her daughter. The motive was urgent, personal, and completely disconnected from the story she told at work. Elise had spent months presenting herself as the dependable daughter. She drove her mother to appointments. She handled insurance renewals. She organized family birthdays. Every act of helpfulness also gave her access to documents, passwords, and trust. When her gambling debt became impossible to hide, she did not confess. She built another fraud to cover the first one. The promotion included a large retention payment, but that still was not enough. My coworker had secretly borrowed £126,000 against her mother's paid-off house using an altered power of attorney. Most of it had disappeared through betting accounts. A final payment was due in 6 weeks, and her mother still believed the house belonged to her completely. The company and police coordinated their next steps. Elise still believed the investigation centered on the recordings and the promotion. She did not know they had connected Aaron's company to the consultancy payment or found the loan against her mother's house. Legal invited her to a formal meeting to review the VoiceLab access records. Nadia objected to my attendance. I insisted. I was not allowed to question Elise, but I could observe remotely from another room. The company's head of security began with the shared drive. He showed that Elise had downloaded 417 voice files over 9 months. Elise said she needed them for training. He showed that she copied several files to a personal cloud account. She said she worked from home. He showed that the cloud account had connected to an online voice generation service. Elise stopped answering. Her solicitor requested a break. When the meeting resumed, she claimed she had experimented with synthetic voices for an internal training proposal, but never created the Braden recordings. Security then played the fake Marcus Harland approval. Elise stared at the table. They showed the upload history. The file had been added from her laptop. She said someone else must have used it. Then they displayed the consultancy form for Northmere Clinical Advisory. Her digital approval appeared at the bottom. Elise's solicitor leaned toward her and whispered for almost a minute. Elise finally said Aaron's company was legitimate and that she had disclosed their relationship verbally to our director. Our director denied it. The last stage of the plan depended on her believing she could still frame the issue as poor procedure rather than fraud. Security asked why Northmere needed exactly £48,000. Elise said it was the supplier's quoted price. They placed a bank letter beside the contract. The loan against Diane's house required £68,742 within 6 weeks. Elise's retention payment, after deductions, combined with the proposed consultancy payment, would leave her within a few £100s of that amount. Her face changed. Until then, she had looked controlled and offended. Now she looked frightened. She asked who had contacted her mother. Nobody answered. She stood up and tried to leave. 2 police officers were waiting outside the meeting room. The consequences unfolded slowly. Elise was dismissed for gross misconduct and later charged with fraud, identity offenses, unlawful access to company systems, and falsifying commercial records. The investigation into the loan against her mother's home produced additional charges. Aaron claimed he believed the consultancy was genuine. Messages between them showed otherwise. He had sent Elise links to voice cloning tools and tested one using recordings of a television presenter before they used client calls. The mortgage lender paused enforcement against Diane while the forged authority was investigated. She did not lose the house, but the legal process lasted more than a year and consumed much of her savings. Braden Medical did not immediately restore the contract. Marcus apologized to me privately, but his board no longer trusted our company's controls. The £6 million agreement was reduced to a 1-year pilot with stricter oversight. My suspension ended after 7 weeks. The company offered to resume the promotion process. I almost withdrew. The role now felt contaminated by the lengths someone had gone to obtain it. I attended the interview anyway. I received the promotion, but there was no triumphant announcement. The department was under investigation, the Braden account had shrunk, and 3 senior managers were disciplined for weak controls. I also received a formal warning. Months earlier, I had allowed VoiceLab recordings to be stored without checking the retention policy. Every manager had done the same, but as a senior employee, I was expected to understand the risk. The warning remained on my file for 12 months. That part annoyed people when I told them. They wanted the ending where I was entirely vindicated and everyone responsible disappeared. Instead, I became regional accounts director inside a company that had learned how easily a familiar voice could overpower ordinary evidence. We changed the way client approvals worked. No financial instruction could rely on audio alone. Sensitive calls required visible participants, written confirmation through verified accounts, and independent callbacks. Training recordings were deleted after review. Voice files could not be downloaded without approval. The policies sounded excessive until I remembered sitting in a glass room listening to myself confess to something I had never done. I still hear synthetic clips differently now. A perfect imitation does not frighten me as much as a nearly perfect one. The pauses are too measured. The breaths arrive at convenient moments. The voice sounds like a person without carrying the physical effort of being one. Elise's fake recording succeeded because everyone asked the same question first. Does that sound like her? It did. The question they should have asked was whether the surrounding facts made it possible. I had spent years building a professional reputation through thousands of real conversations. It took 58 full seconds to place all of them in doubt.
You've been listening to Low Light Stories, original fiction for late-night listening. New stories are added regularly, so subscribe if you'd like to hear the next one. Thanks for listening.